Hello and welcome to ET Interview. If there was one sector which got hit hard because of COVID crisis was the mobility sector, and especially the auto sector. But what a trailblazing comeback it's been for the auto sector. Auto dispatch numbers for the month of October have been strong. Most of the auto companies are indicating that they are back to their pre-COVID levels. So what really has turned the fortunes of the auto sector? Is this pent-up demand or demand is back for good? And within the auto sector, what about the premium biking segment? To understand the future of premium biking segment and talk about his new launch, I have with me Siddhartha Lal, CEO of Eicher Motors. Mr. Lal, fantastic to have you back on ET now. Thank you for joining us. Hope all is well and everything is fine at your end.
Thank you so much, and hope everything is safe with all of you as well.
Let's talk about your new launch, Meteor. How is Meteor different from the existing product offerings of RE? Are you trying to add more premiumization to your current portfolio, or this is a disruptive move to capture the experiential or the adventure traveler?
Okay, I think we've been quite disruptive. I mean, we've many years ago we came out with the Himalayan, which was the first adventure tourer in India, and it was very disruptive. Not in creating a new category, yes. So we were able to create a new category. We stuck behind the Himalayan because we believed in it. And now we can't make enough of it. So we're really in a position where we've got demand from India and from outside India. And the supply chain is now really ramping up and increasing. So we've reached a tipping point in our new motorcycles in Himalayan. We created a new category of twin cylinders, which didn't exist in India, in scale at least. There were a few European Americans selling, a few hundred numbers a year or something like that. But we've now increased that to thousands a month. Many thousands a month, and we've been able to create a whole category of real strong performance motorcycles. And the Meteor 350, which we're launching, so a part of that whole story where we see a particular segment, we see highway cruising in India, and we've owned it with our Thunderbird motorcycle in the past. We created the segment with Thunderbird 20 years ago nearly, and we've been developing the segment, and now we've learned a lot. We do very little things. We don't do too many things. But when we do things, we put a lot of effort, energy, lakhs and millions of kilometers of riding, of testing, validation, and comes out the Meteor 350, which is really an extremely refined cruiser for the Indian highways. The Indian roads have developed so much over the last decade, and they deserve a cruiser which is absolutely fantastic and responsive and easy to ride, easy to own, and really, really refined. So that's really our proposition, which is to take the refinement level so high, and then the customers will come. We're absolutely conscious of the fact that customers will come because we've also made it very easy for them to ride the same motorcycle in the city, right? So it's your only motorcycle. You're buying it because you love the great highways, the outdoors, long distance riding. It's also very practical for your city riding. So again, these are all steps in the larger process that you asked about going forward. And I believe we are going forward quite a bit now. And it's we're able to continue to make gains in Indian market, in international markets, which is exciting for us.
In your assessment, how is the premium motorcycle market in India moving? Because the big perception about this market is that this is a market which is still dominated by the masses, not the classes. This is more like a luxury and not a necessity. And this is an urban phenomenon, not a semi-urban or a rural phenomenon.
That's not strictly true. It perhaps was 10 years ago that it was more leisure motorcycle, but that's when we were selling, 2,000 motorcycles a month. Pre-COVID at our peak, we were selling over 80,000 motorcycles a month. This is not all pure leisure seekers. These are chaps who are using their hard-earned salary and business income to put into a motorcycle, which is a step up of course, it's a big step up from the 100, 150, 200cc bike that they've been riding in the past. But it's still, and it's a step up because they can use it for long distance riding. They can use it in Himalayan for adventure riding, in GT for a bit of sporty riding. But in essence, they're also excellent everyday motorcycles for their daily commute, for their business needs. They're traveling to, 100 kilometers away for work or something else. They can use this motorcycle. And more so now, when people want to have more personal transportation from a COVID perspective, people don't want to take a bus or train for 100, 200, 300 kilometers. They're happy to take a motorcycle, right? Or a car. So it's really timely, I would say, to have motorcycles like this. And it's not just for the urban people. We've got, in fact, from what we used to have a very big urban focus when we, in 2010 or so, when we were really, really pushing into the big urban markets and making sure we have strong share there. Today, our big growth is coming from tier 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, the smallest towns in India, we have 2,000 Royal Enfield stores in India. We used to have only 200 Royal Enfield stores not very long ago. And the 1,000 of them are what we call studio stores, which are small format stores in really, really small towns where it's viable to sell 10, 12, 15 motorcycles in a month. That was a big town 10 years ago was selling 10, 12, 15 motorcycles. Now it's a tiny town selling that many. And that means there are people in small towns who think of this as an amazing value proposition because it's an upgrade from 100, 150cc. Yet on fuel, on maintenance, it's not crazy expensive, right? Of course, it's a little step up, but it's not out of this world expensive. And they get a lot more motorcycle. They get much better motorcycle, which rides really well at low revs. It goes long distance. It's very comfortable. And that's really also in the Meteor. We made it a super, super, super comfortable motorcycle.
So will I be correct to say that iShare is simply trying to position itself as the Apple of India, which is superior both in terms of technology, customer experience, and product innovation?
Yeah, absolutely. That's certainly our direction is to be premium and experiential. So when you walk into a Royal Enfield store, and I was talking about those in the smaller towns. In smaller towns, I've noticed, and I've been there and I've talked to people, for a young chap, for a young person in a small town, a Royal Enfield store is one of the most premium stores in their town. And they go there and they've spent 3-4 years looking at that store and saying, my God, that's really something. That's a brand that's been created in their mind because of the retail, right? And the entire experience, whether it's pre-purchase, you go to our website, you go to our social media, you call up our call centers, you call up our dealers, you walk into our store. So all the pre-sale is absolutely 3 notches up from all the mass manufacturers. So it is the experience of how we sell, how we talk to our customers, how they see us. They don't see us only because we're trying to sell them a motorcycle. They see us because there are rides, there are events, there is Ridermania, there's Astral rides, there's dealer rides, there's Himalayan rides, there's Goa rides, there's all sorts of stuff going on which they get excited by. There's collaborations that we do with other brands which excites people. And then in their post-purchase, and their purchase experience is also better because we're not just trying to push a bike, we're trying to understand what their needs are. And post-purchase, of course, we spend a lot of effort in getting them integrated into rides, community, and all of that. So there is a lot of experiential and premiumness that we bring on the table. And that's why more and more customers are coming to us now as they want to upgrade from a 100, 150cc motorcycle.
So what is the best way to understand the penetration level of the premium bike segment in India? Because with other entry-level motorcycles, we can look at the need, we can look at the demand, we can look at the penetration level. But this market or the premium motorcycle market frankly did not exist 15-17 years ago. It has got created and it is expanding. What is the best way to understand the size of opportunity?
I'm also trying to answer on the fly on this one. The way I look at it is that the entry-level bikes do all the hard work for us in a sense because they're recruiting first-time customers who want commuting. And the way you have to look at it is that now a chap who's ridden a bike for an entry-level motorcycle for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, some of them, not all of them certainly, but some of them say, well, I actually enjoy motorcycling. I'm not just doing it for transportation. I actually enjoy the act of going on my motorcycle, the wind in my face, the turning, or whatever they like about it. They like some aspects about it. So when their paycheck goes up a bit, ET now will pay their employees, keep giving salary increases and promotions. And the guy's like, or the person is like, okay, now I can afford something more, right? And the IT companies in Bangalore, for example, that's where our big success came in from Thunderbird and now hopefully Meteor a decade ago. People are earning more and they're saying, okay, I want something more and I enjoy motorcycling. So that's where the penetration is coming from, is because we have millions and millions of people on entry-level two-wheelers who are enjoying the idea of riding a motorcycle, so at least some of them. And those are the people who are upgrading to us. So that's the base that we're basically after, which is people who enjoy motorcycling.
Years. In fact, last 10 years have been like the golden years for your shareholders, for your company. The stock has given fantastic CAGR return. It is now part of the Nifty 50. But somewhere you also enjoyed a first mover advantage and you also have enjoyed a monopoly, a virtual monopoly. But now competition is heating up from local players and global players. So next couple of years, next 3 to 5 years, what should we expect now that competition is knocking on your doorstep?
More so, in fact. So competition, there's no question, is intensifying. They've all seen our enormous success. They've all seen the type of growth we've had, the margins we've had. We've beaten the industry in pretty much every parameter in the last decade or so. Even with our 5-6% market share, we have 10% revenue share, and recently we had 20% profit share, of the industry. So yeah, of course, there's competition coming in, and in fact, to be fair, they've been there for a long time now. So this is not new. Of course, there are newer chaps who are now targeting our space. In fact, in some cases, there's a lot of bikes that are now looking more like Royal Enfield motorcycles, and I guess imitation is a form of flattery. But customers understand that this is the original stuff, and that's a chap who's trying to copy them. And they don't have the whole formula. I mean, you can make a motorcycle which looks like ours, but you don't have all the different nuances of the motorcycle, of the experience, of the retail, of the rides, but also of the core motorcycle. I mean, the feel and everything else. So, of course, there will be a lot more competitors coming in, and that's certainly part of the game. But we're not standing still. We're doing a lot of stuff, coming out a lot of new motorcycles, including, of course, like this one, the gorgeous new Meteor, which is totally next level. And hopefully you'll hear, and I don't know if you've ridden or you'll ride soon, and you'll get to see the reviews that it is refined. It's like you close your eyes and, well, you shouldn't close your eyes and ride, but what I'm trying to say is that you ride that motorcycle, it feels like a super high-end premium motorcycle, right? That's the feel that we want to get when people ride a motorcycle. And what's been happening is that the market has been growing. So to your point, yes, we totally believe that upgradation and premiumization is a fact of life. There is very little that can happen to change that idea. So of course there'll be hiccups here and there, and there'll be blips here and there. But in every product category, which is where people have some interest, premiumization is a part of it. Whether it's mobile phones, there's premiumization. People are going up. Whether it's cars, we've seen that there's premiumization. There's every product category people want. When they upgrade, they want something slightly better. They don't want the same thing again. So around the world, premiumization is an absolute trend, and certainly in developing countries, it's even more of a trend. And that's here to stay. And we're there to serve the premium market. And we have a premium distribution, the largest premium distribution by far in the country, and a premium product and a premium experience, which is difficult for people even with a larger distribution than ours to match, because there's a very generic distribution which is focused on selling basic motorcycles. They're not used to selling premium products. So we have a lot of advantages, but we're not sitting back on our laurels, and we're really doing a lot of work to keep moving that needle forward for our customer experience, as you said.
So how will you ensure that your domination and your relevance remains intact? Because if you're dominating the market, you will have return ratios and you will be able to protect your margins, which are 20% plus. And if relevance is there, which is the need of the product, you will be able to grow the company.
Well put. But the at least I shouldn't give too many secrets away, but the answer to us is, for us, is really focus, right? We have an outstanding team. We have an outstanding management team, engineering team, commercial team. I mean, really, really outstanding. You guys, you know the team we have. It's really, really outstanding. Now, think about an outstanding team doing a very focused job. Very focused job. We're not wide, we're narrow. Doing a very focused job, serving a very focused market. We can put 10x the amount of effort, the amount of detail, the amount of thought into aspects which other people just can't, because they don't have the management bandwidth. They're serving so many different markets, so many different customers, so many different segments. It's not easy for them. So for us, we focus. We know what we're after. We're after only mid-size market. We're only after, and we're not after every aspect of mid-size also. Someone comes with a super sport 500, we're not going after them. We're not chasing after that category. So we are very focused. We're very defined in what we want to try and accomplish. We want to be, for the people who buy us, we want to have the most amazing experience, which is not just a purchase experience, but post-purchase, pre-purchase, all aspects of it. And our belief is, as we keep doing that and as we keep investing more and more into that idea and that focus that we have, we will be able to continue to hold our customer. Because also think about it, it's not just a premium product, it's also a consumer product. And in consumer products, what happens is that you have to really understand and eat and breathe and sleep that product. And our team are motorcyclists. We're first and foremost motorcyclists who are trying to make an amazing ride experience for our customers. And that's really what we're out to do. So we're having a lot of fun. We're enjoying ourselves. We have a lot of people who, and because we live and eat and breathe it, we're not just business people, which a lot of our competitors are. I mean, all of them, they're more technical or more commercial, but they're not really motorcycling as such. So that's an advantage that we have, and we maintain that. We plan to keep that.
So on a personal note, now that we are talking about bikes and now that you're sharing your product experience so passionately, are you a biker who became a businessman, or you're a businessman who became a biker?
That's $1 million question, really. I have no idea. I mean, of course, my interest in two wheels was much before any business. And yeah, for me, I mean, honestly, when, if you go back, our idea was, I mean, that we've done so well and that we've had outstanding success well beyond what any of us could have imagined is great. And we're delighted about it. And we're going to make sure that we continue that path. But that was not the end goal. The end goal was, in fact, just to do enough to be a sustainable business, to be a business that continues to sustain itself, to be able to invest back and to grow. And that we accomplished a while ago. We were able to do that. And now the rest is all, cherry on top. So we're delighted about it. We're going to continue to do that. But we're also going to keep doing new things. We're not going to sit on our laurels and try and defend our position. We're not a defensive company. We're an enjoyment company. We want to make sure that we do beautiful, amazing things in motorcycling and grow the idea of motorcycling around the world through simple, pure, lovely motorcycles. And in fact, that's what's happening in other parts of the world as well. People are seeing that this is a genuinely gorgeous motorcycle that has everything you need, but nothing you don't. We excel on the essentials, but we don't do more than that, right? And that's also been our success now internationally. We're growing rapidly internationally because people are seeing that this is a different motorcycle with different set of values, with different character, and it meets people's needs which they didn't even know they had. And that's our secret sauce, to be able to read that need of people, which they didn't even know. But when they see the product and the offering and the whole experience, they say, yes, that's the one I like.
Let's look at Tesla. It has got a commanding market cap now, much more than a lot of global auto companies put together. Now, Tesla has been a success of imagination and EV. It has changed the way how the car market would move. Do you see a similar disruption happening in the two-wheeler market as well?
For sure, something similar will happen at some point. It may not be in the same manner that has happened in car industry, but something will happen. What's happening is that whether it's the best technology or not is nearly irrelevant, because the amount of engineering, technology, scientific dollars, billions and billions and billions going into EV means that now it's certainly a platform, or certainly the technology of the future. So, and there's a curve which we all follow religiously and understand very well, where the battery prices are are coming down at a particular rate, and weight and density is also changing at a particular rate. So for cars, the weight and density doesn't matter as much as motorcycles, but for us, cost and density and weight matters a lot, right? You can't have a 300 kilo motorcycle which is meant to be a city ride, right? It just doesn't work. So so it will happen, but it will happen in a way which is different from what happened in cars. So and therefore, like I said, we're a very focused company, right? So one of our focuses now, one of our attentions now is to say, okay, EV, how do we address EV? So we're doing a ton of stuff in the background. We're doing a lot of stuff. We have teams of people, we have engineers, we have product strategy, we have consumer people who are understanding what we need to do. We've got prototypes which we're writing, which we're seeing, oh, this feels nice, this doesn't, this idea is good. So there's a lot of work going on. Our attempt is not to be the first in the market, because still now, as you've rightly seen, is that there's been no success in two-wheelers in electric, right? But there will be in a few years, especially when the cost equation sort of crosses the petrol cost equation, right? I'm saying as a vehicle. So that's bound to happen. And we're absolutely on the, I wouldn't say on the forefront, but we're certainly working extremely hard to see how to address this market in a totally new fashion, and really from a consumer lens. So as you see, Royal Enfield always comes from a consumer lens, brand lens, consumer lens. The technology and the manufacturing and the engineering fits into what our vision of what the consumer wants. So again, we're after that. We're after that idea of what the consumer is going to use, and we're going to fit the technology, the available technology. There's already a lot of available technology in electric. So we're certainly working on it. We're certainly studying the market a lot. We've certainly got ideas. You will see, let's say concepts and prototypes from Royal Enfield in the next year, 2 years, 3 years. But you're not going to see an electric motorcycle on the road in the next 2-3 years. It'll be after that from Royal Enfield.
Well, COVID has re-emphasized the need of personal transport. Some would also argue, Mr. Lal, that the trajectory towards premium biking or buying stronger cars is there. The SUV market is expanding. The premium market, motorcycle market is expanding. So will I be right by saying that this is a market where currently the desire to own more power and desire to own stronger motorcycles is here to stay?
The premiumization is happening. So rather than within premium market, is there a need for now another 5x in power and speed? That's the thing, is that I feel that part of the market is extremely tiny, because what you do when you go up, let's say from 20, 30, 40 horsepower. So our highest, or let's say most powerful motorcycle is 47 horsepower, the Interceptor and the GT, but with a lot of torque, right? But the thing is, as you start going from 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 to 60 horsepower, the cost goes up dramatically. You need bigger brakes, you need bigger, all sorts of aggregates go bigger, and the running cost becomes much bigger, right? So much higher, sorry. So what you're going to have is a much tinier market. Your commuter upgraders are not going to go in for a motorcycle that's so expensive and so difficult to, or let's say so expensive to maintain. You've seen that. I mean, there have been very nice offerings from Europeans, Americans, and Japanese in the higher end of the market in India, but nobody bites because it's just way too expensive to own and maintain. It's just on a totally different level. It's like trying to sell a Maruti guy a Lamborghini or something, you know. Maybe, okay, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. It's like, you know, you can take a step up or two steps up. You can go from a B to a whatever. I don't know the car categories, but you can go from, you know, this to this to this. But you're not going to go from a small hatchback to a S-class Mercedes, right? It's not, that jump is not going to happen. Even if it's a, you know, even if it's a nice offering, it's not going to happen.
In the movie Wall Street, Gordon Gekko said that every man is chasing a number. So what is the number Siddhartha Lal is chasing?
That's a very good question. You know, honestly, for the longest time, the number was very conservative. Not conservative is the wrong word, but when you were 20,000 units a year, that one number which always sticks in my head was 1 lakh. If we can do 1 lakh a year, you know, then we know our business is running on and really, really functioning. Now, we crossed that many, many years ago. So that 1 lakh is over. Obviously, then you can say, is it 1 million? Okay, we're not far from that. But that's not what drives me. It's not about numbers. It's not about 1 million. It's not about 25% EBITDA. That's not what drives us. I think maybe we can try and put a number if you're framing it like that, or Gordon Gekko he's certainly not my role model. So I won't put too much, I won't put too much emphasis on that. But I'll tell you what drives me, if you're asking a personal question, is being a leader in mid-size motorcycles in markets around the world. I mean, if we can do that in my lifetime, I think that's, for me, that's totally next level. I mean, that's like something of a totally different nature that surpasses our need to be 1 lakh units a year.
I distinctly remember after the GFC crisis, the stock price of iShares went below 500 rupees. And from there, it's just been an exponential comeback. You're now part of the Nifty 50. So what was your first reaction the day you realized that you're part of the Nifty 50, the elitist of the elitist club of India? You're now amongst the top 50 companies in India.
Again, these are absolutely outstanding milestones for us at iShares. And to be honest, these are all way beyond, way beyond anything any of us had ever dreamt of, right? So it's all cherry on top, like I say. It's the numbers, beyond a point, another zero here and there. It's all, just big numbers. I'm saying it not as a business person right now. Of course, I can put my business lens and tell you, but of course, it feels absolutely fantastic because it's a validation of the kind of work that we've done, right? I think we've done stuff which is extremely different. We've challenged status quo. We've done, when the market in India was 99.9% 100cc commuter or 100 to 150cc commuter, we took a position that we're going to be very different. We're going to go on the leisure stream, and we had no idea it was going to work, right? There was no idea we didn't know it was going to work. We just believed that that's what we need to do. And it's that belief which led us there, and we stuck to our ground, and the market came to us. And then even when it came to us, we still did a good job of, continuing to nurture it and grow it in the right direction. So it's a testament to, I would say, to doing things differently. And the rest, whether it's our, market cap and entering Nifty, these are all milestones, which are really nice milestones, but these are all milestones. These are not the end game at all. Of course, we're extremely focused on making sure that we continue that story, right? And that growth story, that, the shareholder value, and continue on that path. And that's going to come. That's going to come in the next 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, decades, because I think there's enormous value in being a global premium consumer brand. And that's the path we've now charted for the next 10, 15 years for ourselves.
Well, we wish you well, and I certainly hope to see much more of you going forward. Good luck for the festival season, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Lovely talking to you.